meeting to order. We do have one member, Andre White, is on internet and he's all okay. Good. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to move for adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Okay.
All right.
Moving on to item number 3, which is approval of the minutes. We have minutes there from February 21st as well as March 18th. I'd like to move for adoption of both meeting minutes.
Move to approve as written.
Second.
Any opposed? Okay. Item 4 is appearance by citizens. Good morning. Are there any comments from citizens? Yes.
Is it okay to save comments until the end?
I'm
Is
sorry.
it okay to save comments until the end of the meeting?
Sure. Yes, we can do that. Any other comments? Oh, and we are at unfinished business, and Mr. Boxey has an update that he is going to give to the body.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our agenda item number 5, discussion of the Gullah Geechee Historic Neighborhoods Community Development Corporation position related to William Hilton Parkway Corridor project. Over the last 7 months, since we have been officially established as an organization, we have been spending time having conversations, personal conversations with property owners in the Stony Corridor. And so today what I wanted to do is provide an update in regards to the conversations that we have been having and give an idea to the board as far as where we currently stand in these ongoing discussions. I do want to make a point to note that these conversations are ongoing with property owners in the Stony Corridor. But as you know, the William Hilton Parkway project has been in consideration since about 2018. There have been various conversations that have been had in regards to what that project would look like from a design perspective and also the impacts that it would have on property owners in the area. So, starting out, some of the main issues that we have heard in relationship to this project are safety, right-of-way acquisition, and the actual mitigation for property owners. When we talk about safety being the proposed addition of an additional lane in each direction, moving the highway from 4 lanes to 6 lanes would create a safety issue in regards to speed. So speed is an issue in the corridor. How do we mitigate that? Part of the conversations that we've been having is related to additional safety in regards for pedestrian and bicycle traffic, and also additional enforcement in the corridor to keep those speeds down at a respectable level. Right-of-way acquisition. When we talk about the expansion of the highway, there has been, as has been discussed in previous meetings, the need to potentially acquire additional land from property owners in the Stony Corridor to expand that particular highway. So what we have been very, very adamant in portraying to Beaufort County as well as the South Carolina Department of Transportation is the message that we have received from the property owners in the Stony community, and that is that we do not want any further impact in regards to property acquisition. So as the process has moved forward, and I can honestly tell you that I have, as well as has the mayor and the town manager, been a strong advocate for no further property acquisition within the Stony corridor, but also working to develop alternatives that would not require additional property acquisition. So what that would look like would be to work within the existing right of way to expand the necessary width for the highway to move forward. So there's currently, as part of the conversations that are being had, and we'll go through a timeline that will talk to you about some of the further meetings of the Gateway Corridor Independent Review Advisory Committee. Some of the proposals that are being presented to them also are looking at how to not further impact the property owners in the Stony community, which is something that was very important to us. Some of the other pieces that are related to mitigation would be the pollution, the noise that are currently impacting property owners along the 278 project corridor. And so we talked about means by which to appropriately mitigate sound. Some of that involves planting of trees, noise barriers. We've also discussed the potential of providing mitigation options for homeowners in that area, i.e. Updating soundproofing, weatherization, and different concepts such as that. We've also talked about safe access points to and from property owners' actual residence. And so there are several parcels of town-owned land that we have also looked at as a means by which to provide safe access to property owners in the Stony community. We've also had conversations around economic sustainability. The conversation has been had related to the economic impact that Stony has represented on Hilton Head for an extended period of time. And so we wanted to make sure that we honor and represent the legacy of the Stony community in regards to economic development. So one of the pieces that we definitely are considering is how do we support businesses in the Stony community moving forward. So we're working to develop an economic sustainability plan that would infuse capital into businesses and business owners there in the community. So that's a rough overview, and I'll open it up for questions from the board.
I got one comment, Thomas. I know that, because we meet weekly, that you've been doing a lot of work with this, talking to individual families. So I want to reiterate, really for the audience here, that he is spending a lot of time talking to people within the Gullah community, but specifically those people who are directly impacted with the corridor project. And so I commend you, because I know that's taken off a lot of time and doing a lot of listening. And because you listen well, you're able to reiterate to these other agencies, DOT, South Carolina DOT, what is needed and what these people will feel will make them whole. And I think that's an important point that needs to be made.
Thank you. And there are several property owners in the corridor present today, and I thank you all for being here today in attendance and supporting.
I also want to say, also in addition to commending the community, those who are directly impacted for coming out of Western Mid-Sentiment, and Because you need an advocate in the room, and those who are directly impacted have to have a level of trust, because advocacy is there, you have a seat at the table. So you listen and you heard, and I hear a holistic approach, big picture approach that includes safety, economic impact, land mitigation, and negative impact on that. So I think the total impact that you have, conversations, the dialogue, the team concept that you have with the board and the residents is a good thing moving forward. So kudos to those landowners who they live it, they breathe it, they see it every day, and some of us are far removed from it. So
Right.
I applaud the ongoing work, and I just hope moving forward it'll continue and go stronger, so that the end result will be where nothing can you get 100% of what you want, but the end result will look like a lot of what they would be able to want and accept.
Absolutely, and these conversations are ongoing, and I have given my word to the property owners in the area that I would hold the things that we discuss in regards to personal mitigation and different strategies in confidence until it became time to discuss that at a different level. And so, again, you're exactly right. It has been a journey of trust, and I feel very fortunate to have earned some of that trust from the families and property owners. And again, thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't want to skip ahead to the timeline piece, but I know that the intent here is that Mr. Fox is going to gather some comments from the board that he can carry along the way. And there's just two items that I wanted to hopefully strengthen what has already been captured, right? One, as far as safe access is concerned, I'd like to see us broaden that a bit to the safety as a whole. Access obviously is a huge component. We have a problem as it stands today with property owners being able to access their property. One of the guiding principles of this project was to improve safety, and we've not talked a lot about how we can connect from one side of the road to the other. It's one thing to have a controlled safe road there, but it's a whole other thing to have some type of crossing that is going over the actual highway. I think that it's important for folks that are living in the area. If we are going to be going in the direction of allowing future economic opportunities, well, then you have to have the ability for folks to go from one side to the other. So that is something I would like to see included here. And the other one, what the council had on here, when we talk about economic sustainability, we talk about providing capital in that area. We also have to realize that Stony was economically vibrant at one point. And the combination of the road coming through, combination of property being bought, think about town, we have created something other than a vibrant situation. So because the town is in ownership of so much land in that area, under the economic sustainability bullet here, I would like to include that conveyance of that land to whatever degree that we need to shift property lines, to create better access, to have economic opportunities happen in that area that the town is considering.
I think one of those points was well made. Thomas, I know that under economic sustainability, we talk about those things. We've talked about those things one-on-one. But I think it probably would be a good idea to put those in there. And then I want to go back to Alex's point on property owner safety access. I had not heard
from you how people will get from one side of the other to the other. I've been very concerned about the traffic and the noise and the unsafe environment it causes. So could you speak to that?
Yes, so part of any design elements that will be submitted as final by the department would be, and this would be based in city council's or town council's approval and, for municipal consent or not, but would be, safe pedestrian access. So we've also had the consideration of a concept of a land bridge. And what that would potentially look like would be a safe mode of transition from one side of 278 from the north to the south and vice versa. That would be wide enough for pedestrian, bike traffic, as well as mobility challenged individuals, and graded in such a way that it would be a slight grade so that individuals with mobility related challenges could navigate that without much strain and struggle. But it would also require, that would be one of those solutions that would require us to be very strategic as to where that is located, because it would require a significant amount of land to build up that ramp and to be able to make the passageway heights acceptable for highway traffic, because with that being the main corridor, there are various types of truck traffic that navigate that corridor in order to bring goods to the marketplace. So being able to have enough clearance will require a significant amount of area, surface area, to be able to build that up. But there is town-owned land along the corridor that could be utilized. When we talk about the economic sustainability portion of it as well, one of the concepts that we have presented is also a tax increment finance component that would potentially provide some of the funds necessary to support such an option, as well as the other pieces in relationship to safety, such as access. As you build roads, of course, you need to maintain them. Even if they're small private roads, they need to be maintained, and that would provide a system of funding that could upkeep and maintain any additional roadways that we built that would be utilized for safety purposes.
So cutting to the chase, you see that being able to be done with the bridge that would overlay that?
I think that is a potential solution. Again, that's one that would be it would be costly, and it's something that I think we should consider. But again, that's something that we would have to identify funds to accomplish, and a maintenance package that would be able to help to sustain.
That we could propose to the town.
Correct.
As well as CDC.
Correct.
Okay.
I would actually almost prefer that it be part of the package for the consideration by town council. If the project is to move forward, that it would be covered through the construction of the highway expansion.
That's what I'm thinking. I would rather use other funds rather than our funds.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I just want to encourage Thomas to push that, the pedestrian access piece.
Yeah.
It's difficult now to retrofit. If you drive through Bluffton over the Parkway, the Pinecrest where that golf course is, there's a tunnel underneath that road.
Right.
The golf carts and the pedestrians to get from one side to the other. It's a little too late to drive a tunnel on 278. And we've seen, if you travel through Jacksonville, there was one that actually went across I-95. So if we are to make certain that we address this, then it needs to be something that's in the planning stages. I like where you're going with it. that's over the road, because retrofit is after the fact, it's difficult, but not impossible.
Right.
So I think I want to encourage you to stay on that, because that is something that's, you can mitigate the safety aspect of trying to cross and dodge traffic. They dodge volatile cars trying to get from one side to the other. So that's a good thing.
Right. Thank you.
Uh,
Councilman Ames made a very valid point too, that it's good to have as an option, different access points, but the utilization becomes a matter of personal preference, right? I mean, we can build it, but it's no guarantee that it'll get utilized, but it's still good to have in place. And I don't mean to try to characterize what you said, but I think I kind of captured it.
I think the way I would describe it is binding the wounds of the community. So we're actually making a physical connection from one side of the road to the other for their benefit. I think really what we are attempting to do, at least in my mind, is putting the pieces back together. So, Madam Chair, I'm willing to make a motion based on this conversation if you think it's time, or we can have the public weigh in if that's your pleasure.
I'd like to bring a motion and then open it for question and comment.
I'll make a motion that we accept Mr. Boxley's suggestions incorporated in the May 15th, 2024 memo, William Hilton Parkway Gateway Corridor Mitigation Strategy, with the additions of the comments made by Councilman Brown and board member, the Reverend our pastor.
Johnson. All right. I need a second. Okay. I'm going to open up for question or comment before we vote. Yes.
May you come forward, please?
Today, as she comes up, we need to be more specific about the amendments to the motion for your benefit.
That would be helpful,
Thank you.
Okay.
but we can do it after.
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me your name?
My name is Sarah Stewart, and my mother, she resides on 278, next to Crazy Crab. Okay, my question is, I know you're talking about an overlay. Where are you thinking about putting this, suggesting that it would be on 278?
That's a very good question. I would propose that we utilize land that's already in town inventory. There are parcels, one parcel is at the corner of Squire Pope and 278, and there is a parcel on the opposite side as well that is town owned, or somewhere further down the line. But I'm definitely not proposing to acquire any personal property to construct that.
Okay. Okay, that's a question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Good morning, Dr. Mir Jamal Toure. We had a conversation with Mr. Boxley early this month or last month, and one of the things that we brought up, we shared with them, when you're looking at this, people need to take in consideration also the environmental issues, and that with regards to immediate, intermediate, and long-term environmental issues, because we have seen with regards to highways, interstates, affecting, and when we look at, I'm not talking about the fauna, I'm talking about the landowners with regards to mitigation issues. Many times we tend to ignore that. One of the things that have impacted black communities across the entire United States have been the interstate highway system and highway systems. And with regards to that, when we look at what people are planning, and I threw out to him, I said, they might need to look at, from Jenkins Island, another process, an alternative to not lead people to another route, going through Jarvis Creek. But then I know people will scream about that. But then imagine the homeowners, the landowners on the other end of Squire Pope Road. And we may look at just the immediacy with regards to that, no, but I'm saying the long term, because we deal with environmental issues right now in coastal Georgia and coastal South Carolina regarding the warehouses, logistics. We see, again, retention ponds, again, affecting all of us with regards to our land and our land ownership. So that's something that must be taken into consideration, not just regarding the environment regarding fauna, but also regarding residents.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for being here today.
Any other comments, questions?
Good morning. I'm Yolanda Coy McKinney.
Morning.
And good morning. And just want to thank you all for the work that you're doing. I know it's tough and tedious, and you put a lot of time and effort into it. I thank you. And I still want to express concern about as the highway development and plans move forward. It just seems like the decision has been made already to move forward, and I think plans have been, being made years and years ago. But still stand firm on the importance of preserving the Gullah Geechee culture and all of the decisions that everyone's making with, from the federal, state, local level. It's just very important to, remember what's really important, because even when I hear mitigation, it just seems when I hear mitigation, it sounds like give and take. In order for you to get something, you're going to have to give up something. And it just seems like it's been a whole lot of giving up on part of our culture and on our community over the years. And it still is the same issue. And so it's good we're hearing about the economic development, sustainability, but it seems like it's very much attached to approval or the okay of this highway. Would that discussion have taken place? If the highway was not, or discussions about the highway was not being implemented? I don't think so. We've been dealing with this for years. And I always refer back to the St. James Church that's going to be destroyed for the economic development of the entire Hilton Head for tourism. Tourism is great, but the culture of a people, the sustainability of a culture, the way of life of a people, is wrapped up in our land and who we are. That's who we are. Mm-hmm. So, I hear this, and mitigation, like I said, but why is it that we always have to, I'm talking about our community, the Black community. We're always giving up, or it's being taken from us, or plans are being made and we're told to, okay, it's gonna happen, so this is what you need to do to to make it a little better, to kind of ease the pain. And I think it's not right. And we've been undergoing this for a long time, since the town was developed. And it needs to be addressed, and there's so many issues, but today we're talking about this. But I feel that mitigation is something that we're being expected to do in order to go along with something we don't even agree with. So we don't agree with the highway that's coming. And also looking at the alternative plans for bypass around the Stony community. And I hear about, when Stony is talked about, is one neighborhood. However, what affects Stony affects all of us. They're my family. And even though they're my family, still it's a right and wrong about a process and how you treat people, their land. And it's very desirable. Where their land is very desirable on the water, and a lot of our land. And so when people come here, they see what we have and they want it. And that's been part of history for, since the Native Americans, and it's still going on today. But speaking up about it and saying it's wrong, on the federal level, South Carolina DOT, whoever it is, it's wrong. And before you all make decisions, not you all, but, the entity that's all doing this, before anyone makes the decisions about what goes on in a community, come to the people first. Don't plan a road, plan a highway, then come to us later and say, oh, okay, this is a mitigation plan. And that's what has happened, and it's wrong. And, other options to go bypass, our community should be looked upon. And from what I understand, there are changes being made to make sure that no Gullah property, no Gullah property owners are affected. And at least, someone's trying to look at that aspect of it and do something about it. Because with the current SCDOT plan, it's just, they have that plan, that's all there is to it. I hear mitigation, but if you can avoid touching our community, have another way, another alternative to the Cross Island Expressway and reduce traffic at the same time, why not look at that and tweak it, make it better, do what you can to improve the whole process? So, like I said, we appreciate what you all are doing, but I know it's bigger than you. And as I speak about this culture, it's bigger than Stony, it's bigger than Hilton Head, it's the whole Gullah Geechee culture and what we're trying to protect. So the future generation can have a culture, have their roots and somewhere to come home to. And so that's what I stand on. And I just, pray that God will continue to lead and guide everyone in this process because, like my mother said, He has planted us here. And He have us here for a reason, and, we're going to be here, but we want to make sure that people treat us right and respectfully, respect our land. Don't think you can just take our land, make plans for us, and we don't say anything. Those days are over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, again, thank you all for what you're doing. Y'all got a big job. We don't want to blame you because you're doing what you have to do. But, oh, by the way, I'm Louise Cohen, for anybody who don't know me. And I come to these meetings, y'all, and I have to speak for my people because what hurt them hurt me. And I feel like I'm called to be a keeper of the Gullah Geechee culture. And when I think about my people and all we have to go through, all we have gone through, all I can say to my people, please don't give up. Don't give up. Please be encouraged. You have something so great that your ancestors chose. They chose the land. And I always have to go back to the Word of God. Psalms 47:4 said, God chose our inheritance. God did. So God chose the land on Stony. God knew exactly what was going to happen. This is no surprise to Him. He chose that your ancestors should be honored for what they provide. Gateway to Hilton Head Island. My God, what a statement. There should be a monument placed somewhere on Stony to say those words. But for us, sometimes people just overlook things like that. The recognition and the credit that we should get, we don't get it, And for us to have this conversation today, and of course, there got to be a starting point. So we started from a wagon road, and then increased to 2 lanes, and increased now to 4. And it's like almost that's not enough. Well, we don't have enough. We want it all, Why can't we improve what we have and make it work? Especially when you go in on other people's property. Or is it so simple to do because you're black people and we just feel like we can walk all over you, with no respect to you. You don't have no right. You have it, but we'll just take it from you anytime we get ready. That is not right. And I always go back to this because God always take me back to the people who are making decisions for us. And those people don't have to live by that decision that they are making for us. You know what I'm saying? You make decisions, you leave this meeting, you go wherever you live, okay? And, but you don't have to live by that decision that you made for these people on Stony. I want us to always think about that. Put other people in, put ourselves in those people's place, okay? So, as we think about going forward to this, and I hear a lot of things, I hear so much until it could make me shake in my shoes. Oh, it gonna happen. Oh, it gonna happen. All kind of stuff that put fear in people, and I don't think that should be. If anything, we should be encouraging these people. We should stand around them and behind them to make sure that they stay on their land and be comfortable. Be comfortable, because see, we were comfortable on our land. You know what I'm saying? But now our land seems to be what everybody else wants. So respect the people, and a lot of promises that are here. I hope and pray that it's in writing so people don't get amnesia when it's time to act on these promises, okay? These people are promised things, but please keep your promise. And just remember now, what you do unto other people will come back to you. If not you, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, but it's gonna come back, because God said you're gonna reap what you sow.
Thank you.
Let me just say something, as chair of this committee. No one sitting on this dais takes anything lightly. We will not stay in the past. We will move forward, acknowledging the past and the difficulties and the issues in the past. That is in front of every person's mind on this community. I am not Gullah, but I'm Black. So I know something about disenfranchisement. Personally, I'm in a fight right now for my family's property in Alabama. So I understand somewhat, but, and I don't mean to, I say this with all due respect. Please respect the people on this community, that we have enough grit, we have enough knowledge, we have enough background, and we're not dummies. We understand what has been done in the past, and we're not going to let it continue. That is one reason Mr. Boxley has been spending the time he has been spending, what appears to be very slow, trying to make sure every step we make is not a misstep for the Gullah community. Again, we cannot go back and relitigate what has happened in the past, but we can acknowledge it, we can learn from it, and we can let it order our steps. So a lot of scripture has been told today. I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, okay? I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe that what people do in the dark will come to the light. And I personally cannot sleep at night if there are things that we do as a board that are not right, that Mr. Boxley does. So please, as we go forth, please acknowledge that the people on this board are trying to do things to make sure that the mistakes that were made in the past don't keep reoccurring. And I do feel that that statement had to be made today as we move forward.
Thank you. I would just add that this is definitely a very passionate issue, and rightfully so. And I want to assure you that I am working on behalf of the Gullah community and the residents to make sure that, for one, the property owners and families are not mistreated, and for two, that the outcomes are something that is acceptable to those that own property there in the area. So, with that.
We have a motion on the floor that needs an amendment, I believe.
Just one more comment.
One more comment? I'm sorry.
I had to work also.
May you come forward, please?
We understand.
I have to come up here and speak.
Can you give us our name just for the record?
And I've been coming to these meetings,
and I told my sister Sarah, longer than anyone. Next person was cousin. I've been coming to these meetings, and I don't get paid to come to these meetings. I can't stay from beginning to end. I go not. Because what I've been saying is brief, and something like the young lady said, we never wanted these things. That's why I leave a meeting. I come in, you ask me the right. I have the right to say what I want to have and what I don't. And when I say I don't want this at a meeting, I apply by coming to the meeting. I don't have to stay here and let y'all try to maneuver me to the right to get this, to get that. And that's what this been going on. 2 years ago, you had a local guy doing a news report 2-3 years ago and said, 2 years, get ready, get the best out of your property because this is going to happen. It's been 5 years. It ain't happening. People, there's a new road coming. We all know it, but they keep bringing you here and making you think it's not happening. DOT supposed to suggest to the town that Jarvis Creek was the best way to do this. But somehow it got turned around and it ain't coming through Jarvis Creek. It's gonna come to the heart of the Geechee Gullah community, the power line, right? That's for the traffic issue. This other stuff is just for the gateway of Hilton Head. Started from Master Ward Plan 1, the beautification of 278, the destruction of the Geechee Gullah community. That's why I get so enraged with people who gets up here because they feel they can talk a little bit better, a little bit smarter, but don't know what the heck they're doing or talking about or who they're dealing with. And to go forward, like you say, we ain't talking about the past. To keep this from going any further, this town needs to reconfigure Ward 1. Because I live on the beginning of the island. We're the keepers of the gate. The end of the island was the educated. The middle was the farmer. We all had different belief and different way of life. And if you go back to church, religion, how many black African-owned churches there's on this island that's been here for 50 years, 60 years? 6 or 7 of them. Why? Because we think we do things a lot different, and that's what religion and church represents. So go back to the church. Do it right? Yeah. Brown, you know, as kids, it was Chaplain against Stoney, Spanish Well against Pope. Why? It's like barrios. We're all different. They like to say the fishermen, the farmers, the mechanics, the educators. That's why we had different churches. But now when you put the whole Geechee Gullah in one bag, you're not helping all. Because we're not getting help on the northern end of the island. We're not. We got pickleball court. I ain't never know what the heck a pickleball court is. You know? Pickleball. That's my high school, elementary school. That school has such a part in desegregation. I'm a kid from desegregation. It came to that school. Black kids didn't go to white school. White kids came to my school. I knew nothing about desegregation until I got to school. And there was white kids, and it was a beautiful thing. Now, when I got home and saw what it was, and it's sad, and y'all know it is. The town of Hilton Head is in the Stoney community. I asked someone that worked for the town the other day, where's the town of Hilton Head, and you know what he said? Nothing. Because the town of Hilton Head didn't tell him. He doesn't know. Why? It's a hidden secret, but I was born and raised on the town of Hilton Head, the city. That's where my school, the courthouse, right, Louise? It is what it is. That property is so friggin' valuable, people. There's no price on it. Okay? And like I said, then when they were saying they're gonna build a pump house, water, the most valuable part of the island. Now, the history part of it, coming back to me again, we've been in a meeting where they wanted to replace my building, my mama house. Now the town wants to tear it down. And that building has been licensed for how many years? Check back out and see how long that building has been licensed as a business. It went from my father, Arthur Seafood, to me as William Seafood. It was the family business, Captain D's, and now it's Tomato Man, Tomato Man. And darn if I'm gonna let the town tear my building down. Ain't nothing my mama can say to stop what's gonna happen next. And I love my mama, I respect her, but Brown, tell him, you know. Like I said, I can't, because I get emotional about this. And you guys don't know, I had to go to Hollywood to take my grandson to school, do work and get here on time. And I promise people to come check on me, because I lose my emotions. Like I said, I'm 62 years old. Since I was 26, I've been coming to your friggin' meeting, and you're still dealing with the same thing. And it went from Master Ward 1 to Master Ward 2. Now it's the traffic. And it's not the traffic, because a new road's coming, and it's holding the town of Hilton Head is holding up the state from doing what they need to do. And that's why when you see, we go to the meeting and say, hey, this is what we can do. We go to the next one, they have extended it. Just like the last meeting when I showed you, this wasn't like this. Okay? Do the right thing, homegirl. We ain't talking about the past, it's the future. And like I tell you before, instead of putting a pickleball coach, you should put an educational center so the Geechee Gullah people can learn more to like, and I said it before, and everything I've said has been recorded and taped. And there's something I should say that should get on recorded, but I won't, because I respect the island. I respect my people. Okay? Mm-hmm. Trust me. It's our time. It's the steward's time. It's so many times. Okay? And I advised my parents when the time was coming with brokers to buy property. I shielded my parents from that when Caucasian island local fall into that trap and got rescued it out. Now they're living large. Yeah. Yeah. And I've been a part of that. And history ties into that. I'm in the shrimping book. Those are the places I put shrimp on the dock at these places. You see that me in the history book? Those shrimp was the Squire Pope to that same building that ain't there, the Quap. The town just tore down an artifact from that I've had in my yard. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to Louise, the Stewart family. And I bought those things to keep history going, to keep a part of history. You know, I'm not comfortable no more. I'm not on my own property. I'm not comfortable in my own community where I was born and raised, right in that house, 108 William Hilton Parkway. 8 kids. I was the first kid that was born in that house, number 4. And I still live on that property to the day, and I own other property. But God have, like you say, God have put me there. That's where he wants me to be. And all the evil that this world can bring up have been trying to remove me from that. But I ain't going. Not with my eyes open. You'll have to put me in
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Sorry, but, dude, I've been holding this back for too long.
We appreciate you.
Any other comments? Heather?
Good afternoon. Heather Rath for the record. I'll make my comments short. I've spoken with each of you individually about my family's history in Hawaii and the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, which this committee is, I'm looking to see some synergy and some modeling with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and what this committee is doing. One of the reports that just came out from OHA, Office of Hawaiian Affairs, is the Island by Island Focus Guide that has an executive summary and then a full docket ranging from education to land use to housing, health, et cetera. I encourage you all to take a look at these reports. Thomas, I'll email you the link. I think that it's really good as we look to the future of what this committee is doing. And we're really being able to, nail down the needs neighborhood by neighborhood, as the gentleman just said. I think that this would be a really great resource for y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
What other comments? Okay, I think we're back to the amended proposal.
So you had a motion on the floor.
And we had an amendment.
Second, no.
Yeah.
We have a, yes.
We have a second?
Yeah, we had. Seconded.
I think Mr. Johnson said,
Yes.
yeah, Mr.
Yes.
Okay. So are all in favor?
Point of order.
Court order, okay.
I believe that the clerk had asked for some specifics to the motion. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
I was
So that-
relying on the notes of the Madam Chairman.
Okay, specifically, we are being asked to put in some type of overhanging bridge for
So,
safety.
yeah, so it was part of a safety recommendation in regards to safe crossings along the 278 corridor.
Correct.
The other was the conveyance of the
Conveyance of town-owned property
Yes.
to make sure that the community is being developed in a way that is, let me see.
Not impacted.
Benson Land from
Economically viable.
town ownership for economic development purposes, right?
Okay, that's what I have. Does that give you enough
Yes, ma'am.
specific?
Just those two
Yes,
lumped into one. Yes, ma'am.
yes.
That's what I needed.
Then are we ready to vote on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Andre? Opposed? Okay, I think the motion carried. Okay. Thomas, I think you're at,
Right, item 6, new business. I'd like to recognize Mayor Allen Perry and thank him for being present today. Thank you for being here. Item number 6 on the agenda, new business, discussion of the William Hilton Parkway Gateway Corridor Project timeline. As you know, we have been in the discussions, as has been alluded to, this project has been going for since about 2018. I would like to provide an update in regards to where we are currently and the pathway to proposed vote for municipal consent. So this being the month of May, we started out the month of May hosting or having discussions with Beaufort County, the South Carolina Department of Transportation, Hilton Head Island, as well as myself, present discussing the current design and alternatives that could be less impactful in the Stony community. Um, May the 5th, we had the Independent Review Advisory Committee meeting, at which time the presentation of alternatives and findings were presented by Lockmuller, the consultant that was hired by the consultant that was approved and hired by the Independent Review Committee. Their charge has been to, the Independent Review Committee's charge has been to select the consultant and have that independent review presented to them as a committee, and they will at some point make a recommendation to the larger body of town council as to what the recommendations are for the highway expansion. Um, they have a meeting on June the 12th that I'd like to make everyone aware of. As you see there on the timeline, there's a meeting of that Independent Review Advisory Committee, at which time they will discuss various alternatives and findings, and probably at that point make some sort of a recommendation to town council. Within the next week, and currently, we are having ongoing discussions between the Department of Community Development, the mayor, the town manager, in regards to the proposed highway design. And once we get a little bit further down the way, you'll see in June, and we don't have a date as of yet, an official date for town council to consider municipal consent. But at that point, town council will vote either yes, we approve of the project, or no, we don't approve of the project. So what I would encourage all concerned citizens to do is to make sure and check the website to make sure that you are aware of the date when that agenda item hits town council. Again, these dates are not, as far as a June date, I am anticipating that that particular vote would come before town council in June, but it is not written in stone at this particular point. But I would encourage, again, all citizens to maintain a level of awareness about that so that you can be present and that your voice can be heard. I would anticipate that we would have some type of workshop. So you see the week of May the 20th through the 24th, which is next week, that there may be some additional information related to the Gateway Corridor project coming forward. So at this point, we are nearing the end of this process, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of where we are currently and the proposed pathway forward. And at this time, I'll entertain questions.
Yes.
Again, I'm Yolanda Cohen McKinney. Just one question. Regarding the proposal, the SCDOT's proposal, and moving forward with that particular proposal, they're really pushing the fact that there will be no impact to the Gullah Geechee community. And I just wanted to hear your input regarding that, please. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I'll jump in. I think that the one important factor to consider is that there has already been significant impact. The construction of the highway, and subsequent expansions have created significant impact, whether that is loss of property on the part of that has been described previously, the loss of property by Gullah people, or whether we're talking about sound, whether we're talking about pollution, whether we're talking about safe crossings for pedestrians, it has already been impacted. Now, are there options that are being presented that would minimize or eliminate any further impact? From a land right-of-way acquisition perspective, yes, our mayor, our town manager, myself, and Councilman Ames, as well as Councilman Brown, have been involved in several discussions and have offered feedback on options that would not require any additional right-of-way acquisition. However, what we do know is this, is that moving from 4 lanes to 6 lanes creates some level of impact. So that the question, is there an impact, is yes, there is an impact. Are there things that we're working towards that would reduce or eliminate property acquisition? Yes, and that's what we have been standing firm on, is eliminating the right-of-way acquisition and further land loss by property owners in the Stony community.
That answer your question?
Not really. And it's not you, Mr. Boxley, it's just because, I mean, that's very important, because what is being stated is that there is no impact. And you're saying there is, and that there is impact. So it just needs to be addressed, because I think there's discrepancy and it's false information. If that's what the STDOT is saying, that is no impact to the culture, then that needs to be corrected, because that's what they are using, you know, as a statement they're standing on. Yes, ma'am.
They are SCDOT.
OT,
And when was that stated?
It's in all of, I've been coming to meetings, and Lockmuller has used it in all of the information, so that alternative 1 to the expansion of Highway 278 is the SCDOT's proposed option. It states no impact, and they have a numbering system, a
It's
rating
no
system.
significant impact is what they've said.
And
Well, no impact, I mean,
But
rather significant.
what you just heard us say is that we have corrected that there is impact.
Will that be related to SCDOT?
Yes.
Because they have a rating system, and whether it's no significant impact or not, that they rated it the lowest.
Yes.
So if it's 1 to 4, they are like 1 on the scale of 0 to 4 as far as impact.
Understood.
So that needs to be corrected.
That's what the conversations are about, that there is impact. That's
Yes.
what you just
So
heard
that,
us
yes,
say.
ma'am. So that will be relayed to them and corrected.
Yes.
And so to your point, there is definitely recognized impact. The rating system, to my understanding, was rating the options based on the least to the most impact, and the lower the number, the least amount of impact. Now, when we start talking about some of the other alternatives that have been presented that create other environmental impacts or aesthetic impacts, I know that one of the raised flyovers was creating like a 24-foot above the existing Cross Island Parkway concrete structure that would begin to raise at about Squire Pope Road and continue on to the Cross Island Parkway. So for families that live in the Stony community, they would now be forced to look at concrete pillars, where right now they're looking at green grass. And so there's an impact there. The other piece is that in regards to that rating system, as I understand it, there's costs that are considered, there's land loss that is considered, quality of life that are considered as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go deeper into it, and I won't at this time, but with that environmental assessment that was done, and that questionnaire, because I read through it, and a lot of what's in there is not correct. It's false information, and because it was a question that asked, well, there was, and it was a rating scale as well, asking if there will be any type of community or a group within the community who may oppose, the project, and it stated no, or a very low. And it's just a lot of inconsistencies, and just that, I just wanted to address the, that term, no impact
Right.
to the culture, and, because in what was written, it did not say significant. It said no impact, so I just wanted to make, set the record straight. And if that's not what it's meant, then that needs to be corrected with
Gotcha.
SCDOT.
Understood.
Understood. And that's one of the reasons why the advocacy has existed and has been strong as a collective body, from the mayor's office, the town managers, myself, and town council, in regards to let's limit or eliminate the amount of right-of-way impact. We've got historic businesses that have been in the Stony community since, 1950s. And so I would love to see those buildings remain, those structures remain and operate, under Gullah ownership. And so that's cultural significance, right? And that's what we're fighting for on the ground. I can tell you that beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yes, sir.
My concern is, you're talking about a 6-lane highway. Now, I was coming out of 77 Columbia the other day, and I remember when I was 20-something, I'm going to school, when they were building that thing. You had to go to 26 to 20 to get to North Carolina. And I was just on that Sunday in the 6-lane. No, I think 5. And we have 4-lane in Stony community now. Why you want to even think about 6 and such a small little piece of land? 6, our interstate don't have 6-lane. See, that's why y'all don't want me here at these whole meetings. 6 lanes and compose. Who would even come up with an idea like that? I mean, that's what we paying people to think for? 6 lane? Yeah, Stony community, 6? Where we going? Atlanta, you don't have that much lane. Miami, where I drove, don't have that much. And like I said, past but future. Next meeting, like you said, we need to start getting more representation in the town council. Town council need to be breakdown and refigured. Ward 1 need to have at least 3 representatives. And I mean, because it ain't working and it will never work. So, future, boss lady, you made a statement saying we ain't worrying about the past, but the future. Let's start working on this today. Because if you don't now, I got 8 grandboys, and I hope 2 of them can get on one of those seats. And they're already 21 to 2. Okay? Because the way it is today, it'll be the death of this island. Because anything Brown can vote for or we can bring up to the table, when it comes to town council, it could be shot down. And you can have 2 of them voting for us, but it's going to be 3 against the rest. That's what you need to fight about. Because without that, this doesn't matter. Because when your eyes are gone, closed, your kids and grandkids, great-grand, and you'll have a leg to fight on. And that's all I'm trying to provide. The future, it ain't about me. It ain't even about my kids. It's about my grandkids. Okay, because my great-granddaddy, they never even talk about. My granddaddy Only thing my daddy ever told me about my granddaddy, that he could have been anything he wanted to be, but my granddaddy died. And when time was hard, he got taken advantage by the tumors. The house was in so bad shape, my great granddaddy. And that's when I used to cut that yard and I saw that pump down there and I thought about him. I really feel. He didn't want to sell. Crazy Crab would have never been there. That was the best part of the school property, right? A lot of my family members don't know anything about it. Nothing. But we had, your great granddaddy had to sell that property so life could go on. He didn't want to. But right where you see the Crazy Crab at, me and Dan Gleason played softball before he became a professional World Series champion, right there. A lot of history, Stoney, with me. Nothing but history.
All right,
We appreciate your comments.
cut you off.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
I'm going to
thank
cut you off.
See, that's what I'm saying. You want me to come here, and when I stay, you shut me up. See what I'm saying? Like I said, and I think, and some big politician, they call that filibuster, stop running this rest of crap down people's throat, because we ain't. See, you keep saying, let's not going back, but you going forward and leaving us behind all the time, homegirl. Don't piss me off now. You know, as a kid, when people used to bully me, and they got on the bike, I just took a stick and throw it in the wheel, and that stopped the whole thing. That's all.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Got to handle this with me. Thanks, everybody. Mr. Mayor, I told him, I've been telling him, you need to get involved and let's do
May
a
you-
project to Stony.
May you please state your name for the
Please
record?
state your name for the record, please.
I'm not going to state my name until the conversation ends.
Yes, sir. Understood.
And I did it before. I do this enough. So I travel throughout the entire Gullah Geechee area with regards to this. And so now, Mr. Boxley and I had a conversation. My name is Dr. Amir Jamal Touré, as I stated the first time. And Boxley and I had a conversation, which one of the things I shared with him, and I hear people here, and I hear family members, and so again, let y'all know, my family go back to at least 1814 here on this island and in Bluffton. So it's the Murrays, the Walters, Greens, and the Dreesens, and that's just one part of it. So what I share with him, and I'm hearing folks say certain things, but then I also understand, I want to find out from you all, what do you want to see the community do? What must the community do? Because when I had the conversation with him, I said, one of the things that I know for a fact what happens, and I said it to him, and I have no shame about it, that people on Hilton Head will be silent. There'll be a few that will say something, but others will not say anything. And that a clarion call must be made for everyone on the island, Gullah Geechee people in particular, that not stand up and speak out. It cannot be 2 people, 3 people, or 5 people. So I want to know, and I'm throwing it out there to y'all and say, what do y'all think the people should be doing? Throw it out there right now. And then the community, then we must take that back to the people. We must take it to the churches, to our social organization, to wherever we are, to our family members, so we no longer sit back. What has happened to us and what occurred is because we sat silent. We know things that should not have happened, but we've sat silent. We've seen land taken from us, and some of us who say that we're activists, advocates, we have seen them take land from us. And when we talk about the marina, guess what? It was Benji Walters and Sophie Walters' property that was the other part that the town of Hilton Head got 10 years ago. So people knew about it and said nothing about it. So I'm saying, that's why I say, it's not on you all. It's not on you all. It's on you all to throw out to the people to say what you want them to do. And then for the people now to also say, okay, the ball is in our court and we need to act. So often we don't act. And so now it's time for us to act. So I'm just throwing it out to you all. You might all make some suggestions to some people so they can hear that now and then say, oh, we need to take this back. Let the seed be planted.
Thank you. Thank you. So to answer your question, I think that the biggest thing that our citizens and our community members can do is to stay engaged to make sure that when these meetings occur, that when this vote goes before town council, and even before that, when the next meeting on June the 12th of the William Hilton Parkway Gateway Corridor Independent Review Advisory Committee occurs, that be in attendance. Be in attendance so that your voice can be heard. 1 p.m.
That's the thing. We need it at a time where the community can actually come and participate and engage. Ask for work, please. Could not be in the evening hours. So
Okay.
the community can come out, please.
Point taken. I will definitely send that information up to the scheduling body and see what we can make happen on that end. Any other comments?
Can I say this one, this one last thing? Louise calling again. The most disencouraging thing is for us to attend meetings, make statement after statement after statement after statement, and it seems like people are listening. It seems like they're listening, but then we get no result. That's the worst thing in the world that happens to our people, and that's why a lot of times our people feel like they're not treated right, because it's like nobody listens, because what I'm saying you don't hear, because you don't want to hear, because I'm not saying what you want me to say. And our people get discouraged because of that, and they say, you know what, the heck with it, because they're not listening to me, and nothing good is going to happen for me and my community. And a lot of times you don't see people because people have lost faith, they have lost trust, and they say, because they usually tell us one thing and they go ahead on and do something else. And I think that is one thing that needs to change. We have to turn that around. And people say they're listening, then do something about it. Let us know that you are listening. Let us see that you are listening to us and that you hear us. And with this, Tony, what we going through, if there is something that you can do about it to prevent it, and like I say, you already have 4 lanes, then work with what you got and leave the people alone. And if there's anything that you can do to help the people feel more comfortable, Mayor, if there's anything you can do to help the people feel more comfortable in their community, on this land that their ancestors purchased, that God allowed their ancestors to purchase for them, so we would have a place here. If there's anything you can do to help these people, please do it. Okay? Please do it. And because your decision gonna make a difference to our people. And like I say, you're gonna be responsible for those decisions that you make. It doesn't matter whether it's you, Mayor, or Louise Cohen. You're gonna be responsible for it because God said you're gonna reap what you sow. Yes, sir. And it's just the truth. So in your deliberation, when we're not there, please think about us. Think about us. We're human beings. We're just in these black bodies. We didn't ask to be in these black bodies. God chose to put us in these bodies. You know what I'm saying? So we're black because we can't help it. And like they always say, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. And we can choose being who we are. So we're just asking people to just kind of walk in our shoes in your mind, okay? And always do the right thing. Thank you so very much.
If I may.
Thank you.
Councilor Johnson?
Dr. Jamal asked, what is it that we would need from you? One thing that would go a long way is for the community to unite together to support this board. You have a CDC board that has never existed. You've never had a group of people that was empowered to support you, to rally behind you, to be your voice that didn't exist before. And what would be helpful to us is for you to rally your communities to say, let's give them the benefit of the doubt Let's support them in the efforts. Let's listen to them, right? We feel your pain. We feel your passion. Um, and we may not live in your community, but we have a vested interest in what happens to you because what happens to you happens to us all. And before you kill it and say what's not going to be done because it wasn't done 20 years ago, well, we didn't exist 20 years ago. We didn't exist 5 years ago. We didn't exist 2 or 3 years ago, but we are here now. And if we're to be successful, what will help us help you is for a rally of support. You engage, sheet make sheet. You engage with those persons who have your ear. Have them to say, okay, let's give these people a chance. Let's listen to them instead of us fighting against one another. Let's try to work together because this is an opportunity that did not exist before. This is a voice that we did not have before. These are seats at the table in the room that we did not have before. Give us the benefit of the doubt until we show you we no longer deserve it. That has not been allowed to happen yet. I think if we would work together as a team, right? Trust lives on a two-way street. Communication lives on a two-way street. Cooperation lives on a two-way street. And so what do we need? We need your input. We need your support. The man that left talked about voting and representation. The last voting cycle, and as he said that we had, you stayed home. The Ministerial Alliance made affordable or made available to you souls to the polls. All the church buses were available to take people to the polls, and we got crickets. Nobody came forth. NAACP has reached out to me and says, we want to have a souls to the polls. I says, I'm with you. We tried it last time. We'll try it again. So we don't, the apathy, the silence that Jamal was talking about that existed is counterproductive, right? The things that have happened, we can't undo what's happened to you. My heart bleeds for you. I can't take it back. I can't fix it over. I can't. But what we can do together is roll up our sleeves and work together as a team. You have voices here now, solid voices, monetary resources behind voices that you did not have 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years. Give us the benefit of the doubt. Champion the communities, listen, y'all. Come hear what they have to say. Let's work with them, right? I believe that they have our best interests at heart. Support them. What do we need? We need your support. That's the only way we want to be impactful. Because they're trying to divide and conquer us. And if we sit there and allow us to be divided, they will conquer us. But the CDC exists for you. Our voice is for you. Our fight is for you. And we need you to help us fight for you. So we need your support from the community as a whole. I was told one time that we could not be trusted. That all we see sitting up here is a bunch of beignets, kamyas. And kamyas, I've been on this island for 25 years. I have a vested interest in this island for 25 years. I go to football games, basketball games, baseball games, and they ask me, what child is yours? I don't have a biological child in the game. Look at all my kids. So if you believe in this island, and you believe in what's best for you, then you've got a committee, a CDC that's here that's fighting for you. We need you to help us help you win. Because if we fight against each other, we'll never win. We'll never get, next election time, if you want 2 or 3 people more than Alex on the board, nominate them and then come out and support them. Vote. The apathy is killing us. We are the change we want, and if we are the change we want, we have to stand up and demand it. Not around the edges, right? Get some persons if we want change, if we want a different look, if we want our voices heard, vote our voices in office. That's the way we impact change. When you've got change agents that's willing to fight you, fight with us. Help us fight for you. That is what you need.
Pastor, thank you. That was very well said. And that's what we say as a board when we meet, and we are fighting for you, but you have to work with us. You have to. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Belinda Stewart Young. I stay on the Stewart Gateway. We've named it the Stewart Gateway. That's
Okay.
where I live.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to say a few things here. First of all, again, thank you all for your hard work. And I'm glad that we do have this committee to speak for us. And I have a couple of things that I want to speak, and I'm glad the mayor is here also. I don't think I've ever gotten to speak in his presence, but here's today. These are some suggestions that you take. This is for the future, because what's in the past is in the past. Some things we cannot change is set, and we cannot change, unfortunately. You know, it's very unfortunate, but we still talk about it because on that Stewart property over there, my grandmother worked. She worked in the oyster factory, and she saved her nickels and dimes. She saved so that she could buy, her and my grandfather, both of them worked, so that they could buy that property over there. And I'm sure they may not have thought it at that time, but they wanted this land to go to their descendants. That's where they passed the land off for what we call now generational wealth. That's it. And they put us in a beautiful spot for that. And a lot of Black people don't have that because of the way we've been treated and the way, and when I say that, I mean, when we get jobs, we don't get the same paychecks that other people get. We can do the same job, but our pay is much less. So we had to really learn how to save, and we couldn't save as much as other people could. But they saved to give us this land, and we want to keep it. I want my grandchildren to have it, pass it on down to them. And that's why I don't want it taken away from us any more than it already has been. But just keep that in mind when you're going to the next meetings with other people other than us, that's one of the things we want. We want our land for generational wealth for our descendants, just like other people do with theirs. Future planning. This is my suggestion here. I don't care if I get credit for it. I don't care who takes it and run and say, no, I want the credit. I'll bring it like I did it. It's all right with me. Just think about this, doing this, and this is not necessarily for you, but as you pass it on to people. In Maryland, going from Maryland to into Virginia, over there by Virginia Beach, there's a Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel there, and that tunnel is beautiful. Now, it's a tunnel for a little while, it's a bridge for a while, it goes back into a tunnel, and it comes back up a bridge. Beautiful. I think it's about 13 or 17 miles long. And then there's a place where you can get off on the side to buy your little refreshments or something. You can do that. Hilton Head is one of the top, it is the top, I believe, resort area in the United States, which is good. I just see it as home, because I'm not a tourist. I live here part-time. But anyway, in the future, rather than bother our land, it would be wonderful. I mean, just think of how good this would be to have a tunnel bridge like that on Hilton Head. And to top theirs, they only have one place where you can get off on each side. To top theirs, what if we had the tunnel part, an aquarium set there, where the little children, as they go through, they could get out the car and they could see the fish, the sharks, the shrimps, all of that in the sea. They could see that. That would be nice. Have another spot where you could get off on the tunnel part or the bridge part and fish. Have a little area there where you could fish. I mean, this would be a big project, something that needs to start be working on now, and something that does not interfere with people's homes. Or if it does, that's another thing that I have. If it does interfere with someone's home, it's not always good to interfere with the least, an area where there's the least amount of homes, because you keep hitting the same people. To take a person's home, it doesn't matter how many homes you take. To take the individual home hurts. It hurts a lot. And when you keep coming back to take my property, to take my land, and you have all these other places you could, so what if you run it through Hilton Head Plantation? You're taking my land. Why not sometime take their land? You know, it doesn't matter if it's 50 people there and 4 over here. It doesn't matter. You keep taking the same people's property until it's gone and you have no more. Okay, we're the small man. Don't do that to us anymore. Please, don't do that to us. But here's some things, like I said, that you could do for the future planning. And like I said, if somebody says, oh, I'm going to take that idea, I don't care. My name doesn't have to be anywhere on it. Just do it. Just get the job done. That's all. I think that's about all that I had to say. Oh, and the other bridge. Yeah, I guess that was telling me that's all to say. Okay,
Go right
that's
ahead.
it. That's it.
That's it? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Young.
Any other comments that need to be made? Yes, ma'am. No.
And then it was short. But my name is Sharon Sherman, and you had mentioned something about the NAACP is what made me kind of wake up even more. I don't know when that happened. I don't think I was involved. I just wanted to confirm you with that, okay? My thing is, all I wanted to say is that coming here, I love it here. I thought I was retired, but I'm not. I've seen a lot. Visiting is different. Living here, it's different. And I had became involved for that reason because of the land. And that's how it started. That's how I met Mr. Alex Brown, trying to get some situations taken care of. Me coming in and visiting and coming across that bridge, I couldn't wait. Actually, we hit Savannah. It's a smell. And it wasn't until one day, because I got a little turned around, I was down Sea Pines, I had that smell. I had to pull over into a parking lot. It's like, that's the smell. You probably won't understand it because if you're here, you're used to it. But when you come back, it's a smell that tells me I'm home. And knowing that I have relatives, when I came across that bridge, I could point over and look to see whose car is over there. I can also understand how you saying you want to widen it, and then I ride through, I'm like, where's it going to go? Again, I'm scrambling, but I really appreciate you explaining what the CDC was and your stance for what you're trying to do and are going to do. And I appreciate it. And I think it is a blessing that I came at a time that you guys are here, because he said, wasn't here, 2 years ago? I just got here too. So if there's anything that you think we can do, let me know with the NAACP, because there's new people here. And we're going to do what we need to do. If it's about voting, about land, because I'm in a fight right now with my mother for her land. So I'm watching and I'm listening and I'm paying attention. So I'm going to be quiet right now and go back to my seat. But I was listening. Thank you all.
Thank you. What are the comments?
Can I say one other thing?
Yes.
I'm going to try to keep my mouth shut. I know I heard a lot about the community and trying to get people in the community to be at the meetings, and sometimes it is so hard to do that because like the meetings are held during the daytime, and of course, the committee members, you have to do what you have to do, and you have other things to do too. So I do understand that, but I want you to understand, sometimes it's hard to get the community to come out at the same time. So 1 o'clock, 10 o'clock meetings, people are at work, okay? But I think what is so important is when we talk to people in the community, as we talk to them and they share the burden, whatever is on their heart with us, those of us who are available to be at these meetings at certain times, and we can come, we bring the message back to you. And the other thing, and y'all excuse me because I can't help myself, I have to go back to the Word of God, and I have to say this, that Jesus never used the crowd. It was the few. You know what I'm saying? And I was supposed to read this and make sure I get it right, whether it was Jehoshaphat or Gideon, who was fighting the battle, and they had 30,000, and God tell him, you got too many. So, of course, he said, who's scared? You go back home. Well, about 20,000 once we went back home, that left 10. He told me, you yet got too many. But you take them down to the brook, and I'll choose them for you, you know. And so he give them a test. So, okay, those ones who you take to the brook and they're gonna drink water, if they drink like the dog, or you know, they got down there and they got down there and they're drunk. Well, probably about 6,700 of them just drink the water. You got too many. But the one that scooped the water up and lick it up like a dog, okay? But those guys, when they were looking at water, they could see, they were watching to see if the enemy were coming. You know what I'm saying? You put them off to themselves, and it was about 300, okay? So a lot of times, God is not gonna use the big number that we want. And I'm just saying that about us who can come to the meetings. And sometimes it's gonna be the few who can bring the message from the community back to the committee, or to whoever we need to bring that back to. And even though we want the crowd to come, sometimes the crowd just can't come. But we, coming from the community, we're gonna bring the message to our committees, or whoever our representatives are. So I just want y'all to know that I appreciate you. I've sit in not y'all's place because I've never been, you know, on the CDC committee, but many other committees, and I know the commitment, you know, that you have, and sometimes you have to take certain stand. But we, as a praying people, we have to ask God which stand to take and what to do and how to do what we have to do. And I know we're going to do that because we are God-fearing people. So I thank you all for what you're doing. Okay, keep on doing what you're doing. And if anytime you feel you need to ask me anything, Louise, what you think we can do to help, feel free to call me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What other comments do we have? Yes, Alex.
I wanted to just respond to Brother Jamal's question as well. Not only support for the CDC is needed, but I'm stealing this from one of the elders, Mr. Barnwell. So I'm gonna try to be very direct with this comment. Have long-term plans for your generational pass down of your land. That's so important. Gullah law sometimes gets in our way because the elders are the ones that can say anything. I remember having conversations with my dad about my granddad telling some of his siblings that they didn't have a say because he was the oldest. Have conversations, young and old, about your long-term plans for your property. And make sure that those conversations are relevant to the environment that we're in. I don't think anybody, except for Mr. Barnwell, is still growing corn and that sort of thing. Make sure we are listening to our younger generations as to what they want to have happen in the future so they can maintain generational wealth. And that's not something that we're going to solve at public meetings here. That's something we're going to solve at the grassroots level, individually, under the tree with our own families. I think that's so important because if we don't do that, then whatever decisions we make, whatever recommendations we make, are going to be all in vain. We're trying to provide a roadmap for sustainability. But that starts with the folks that are owning the land at the moment. So that's my response to your question, Brother Jamal, as far as what can the community do.
And we're still growing corn, okra, and greens, just to let you know that. So yeah, let you know. All square, pope, and cucumbers, that's right. That's why we don't want no pollution over there.
Andre. Mr. Boxley, are you?
No, go ahead.
You guys hear me? With the time limit?
Chair, I believe
Andre?
Andre is trying to speak.
I'm sorry. Andre?
Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sorry for the background.
We have a little background noise.
I unfortunately had to leave where I was quiet. But I just wanted to speak to being a Gullah Geechee on the CDC board and family experiencing the same plight in terms of the land ownership and the stewardship of not just family land, but of the Native community. And sort of I carried that with sort of wanting to be on this board and wanting to make a difference and wanting to make an impact and wanting to bring resources that become available to me to give back to the community beyond just my land. So I don't know. It just seems like I don't know if everybody just knows that. Like who there are some on our community on our board that are come here's, but there's Binyas like me. We're different generations. Me and Alex. But we represent sort of the stories that we've heard from our elders, and sort of our own interpretation of what that should be to carry the torch forward. And I think so. There's that too. It's not just folks that you may not be familiar with or you feel aren't as rooted in our story. So.
Thank you, Andre.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any other comments? Well, that concludes my remarks, and that was not an agenda item that requires any type of formal adoption or vote or anything like that.
Thank you very much for sharing that timetable. If we have no other comments, we are at the point of adjournment. Do we have any comments from the floor? Then I need a motion to adjourn, please.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so adjourned.